We continue a Vedic reader for students by Arthur A. Macdonell with a chapter on Indra. Indra is invoked alone in about 1/4 of the hymns of the Rig Veda, far more than are addressed to any other entity, for he is the favorite national entity of the Vedic people. He is more anthropomorphic on the physical side and more invested with mythological imagery than any other member of the pantheon. He is primarily an entity of the thunderstorms who vanquishes the demons of drought or darkness and sets free the waters or wins the light. He is secondarily the entity of battle who aids the victorious Aryan in overcoming his aboriginal foes. His physical features, such as body and head, are often referred to. After he has drunk soma, he agitates his jaws and his beard, and his belly is many times mentioned in connection with his great powers of drinking soma. Being tawny, hairy in color, he is also tawny-haired and tawny-bearded. His arms are especially often referred to because they wield the thunderbolt, Vajra, which, mythologically representing the lightning stroke, is his exclusive weapon. The bolt was fashioned for him by Tavashtar, being made of iron, Ayasa, golden, tawny, sharp, many-pointed, sometimes spoken of as a stone or rock. Several epithets, compounds, or derivatives of Vajra, such as Vajra, Bahu, bearing the bolt in his arm, and Vajrin, wielder of the belt, are almost without exception applied to him. Sometimes he is described as an arm with bow and arrows. He also carries a hook, and Kusa, having a golden car drawn by 2 tawny steeds. Hari, he is a car fighter. Ratheshta, both his car and his steeds were fashioned by the Ribus, the artificers. As Indra is more addicted to soma than any of the other entities. Well, the idea that at least one recipe of soma included opium, ephedra, and marijuana is understandable that he was so addicted, right? The common epithet, soma drinker, somapa, is characteristic of him. This beverage stimulates him to carry out his warlike deeds. And to this day, amphetamines is used to provoke or enable violence with armies. Thus, for the slaughter of Vritra, he is said to have drunk 3 lakes of soma. One whole hymn, 10:119, is a monologue in which Indra, intoxicated with soma, boasts of his greatness and his might. Indra is often spoken of as having been born, and 2 whole hymns deal with the subject of his birth. His father, the same as Agni's, appears to be Dyaus, but the inference from other passages is that he is a Tavashtar, the artificer among the entities. Agni is called Indra's twin brother, and Pushan, 654, is also his brother. His wife, who is often mentioned in Indrani. Indra is associated with various other entities. The Maruts, 185, are his chief allies who constantly help him in his conflicts, hence the epithet Marutvant, accompanied by the Maruts, is characteristic of him. Agni is the entity most often conjoined with him as a dual entity. Indra is often coupled with Varuna and 786 and Vayu, entity of wind. less often with Soma, 848. Brihaspati, 450. Pushan and Vishnu. Indra is of vast size. Thus, it is said that he would be equal to the earth, even if it were 10 times as large as it is. His greatness and power are constantly dwelt on. Neither entities nor men have attained to the limit of his might, and no one like him is known among the entities. Thus, various epithets such as Sakra, Satchivant, Satchpati, mighty and lord of might, Satakratu, having 100 powers, are characteristic of him. The essential myth forming the basis of his nature is described with extreme frequency and much variation. Exhilarated by Soma and generally escorted by the Maruts, he attacks the chief demon of drought, usually called Vritra, but often also the serpent Ahe. Heaven and earth tremble when the mighty combat takes place. With his bolt he shatters Vritra, who encompasses the waters, hence receiving the exclusive epithet Epsujit, conquering in the waters. The result of the conflict, which is regarded as being constantly renewed, is that he pierces the mountain and sets free the waters, pent up like imprisoned cows. The physical elements in the conflict are nearly always the bolt, the mountain waters are rivers, while lightning, thunder, cloud, rain are seldom directly named. The waters are often terrestrial, but also often aerial and celestial. The clouds are the mountains, Parvata, Giri, on which the demons lie or dwell, are from which Indra casts them down, or which he cleaves to release the waters. R. The cloud is a rock, Adra, which encompasses the cows, as the waters are sometimes called, and from which he releases them. Clouds, as containing the waters, figure as cows also. They further appear under the names of Udder, Udar, spring, Utsa, cask, Kavanda, pale, Kasa. The clouds, moreover, appear as the fortress, Puras, of the aerial demons, being described as moving, autumnal, made of iron or stone, and as 90, 99, or 100 in number. Indra shatters them and is characteristically called the fort destroyer, Purbid, but the chief and special epithet of Indra is a Vritra slayer, Vrittahan, owing to the essential importance in the myth of the fight with the demon. In this fight, the Maruts are his regular allies, but Agni, Soma, and Vishnu often assist him. Indra also engages in conflict with numerous minor demons. Sometimes he is described as destroying demons in general. The Rakshasas are the Asuras. With the release of the waters is connected the winning of light, sun, and dawn. Thus, Indra is invoked to slay Vritra and win the light. When he had slain Vritra, releasing the waters for man, he placed the sun visibly in the heavens. The sun shone forth when Indra blew the serpent from the air. There is here often no reference to the Vritra fight. Indra is then simply said to find the light. He gained the sun or found it in the darkness and made a path forward. He produces the dawn as well as the sun. He opens the darkness with the dawn and the sun. The cows mentioned along with the sun and dawn, or with the sun alone as found released or won by Indra, are here probably the morning beams, which are elsewhere compared with cattle coming out of the dark stalls. Thus, when the dawns went to meet Indra, he became the lord of the cows. When he overcame Vritra, he made visible the cows of the nights. There seems to be a confusion between the restoration of the sun after the darkness of the thunderstorm and the recovery of the sun from the darkness of night at dawn. The latter feature is probably an extension of the former. Indra's connection with the thunderstorm is in a few passages divested of mythological imagery, as when he is said to have created the lightnings of heaven and to have directed the action of the waters downwards. With the Vritra fight, with the winning of the cows and of the sun, it is also connected, the gaining of Soma. Thus, when Indra drove the serpent from the air, there shone forth fires, the sun, and Soma. He won Soma at the same time as the cows. well, this isn't a fly agark mushroom, but there are fly agark mushrooms around. Well, there are other ones with the red tops, but the so that's one of the secrets there, right? Is the cows and the particular trees. But the particular trees are the really required thing. You don't need the cows necessarily, but they will grow further from the trees if you have the cows depositing their stools. Thus, when Indra drove the serpent from the air, there shone forth fires, the sun and Soma. He won Soma at the same time as the cows. Great cosmic actions are often attributed to Indra. He settled the quaking mountains and plains. He stretches out heaven and earth like a hide. He holds asunder heaven and earth, as two wheels are kept apart by the axle. He made the non-existent into the existent in a moment. Sometimes the separation and support of heaven and earth are described as a result of Indra's victory over a demon who held them together. As the destroyer of demons in combat, Indra is constantly invoked by warriors. As the great entity of battle, he is more frequently called upon than any other entity to help the Aryans in their conflicts with the earthly enemies. He protects the Aryan color and subjects the black skin. He dispersed 50,000 of the black race. He subjected the Dasyus to the Aryan and gave land to the Aryan. And yeah, things are exactly how they were implied. The Hindu Kush Himalayan, those people went down into the valleys. So, more generally, Indra is praised as a protector, helper, and friend of his worshippers. He is described as bestowing on them wealth, which is considered the result of victories. His liberality is so characteristic that the frequent attribute Magavan, bountiful, is almost exclusively his. You know, their version of Ar-Rahman, you know. Besides the central myth of the Vritra fight, several minor stories are connected with Indra. In various passages, he is described as shattering the ears of Ushas, the female entity of dawn, 451. The ancient Egyptians also had a female entity of dawn, and some other ones in the middle of the night, right? This trait is probably based on the notion of Indra's bringing the sun when kept back by the delaying dawn. He is also said to have stopped the steeds of the sun, apparently by causing the latter to lose a wheel of his car. Indra is further associated with the myth of the winning of Soma, for it is to him that the eagle brings the draught of immortality from the highest heaven. Another myth is the capture by Indra, with the help of Surama, of the cows confined in a cave by demons called Pannis, which kind of relates to a Goetic entity, but I've talked about that in that series. Various stories which, though mixed with mythological elements, probably have an historical basis, are told of Indra's having fought in aid of individual proteges, such as King Sudas, against terrestrial foes. Attributes of Indra are chiefly those of physical superiority and rule over the physical world. He is energetic and violent in action, an irresistible fighter, an inexhaustible lavisher of the highest goods on mankind, but at the same time sensual and immoral in various ways, such as excess in eating and drinking and cruelty in killing his own father, Tavashter. He forms a marked contrast to Varuna, the other great universal monarch of the Rig Veda, who wields passive and peaceful sway, who uniformly applies laws of nature, who upholds moral order, and whose character displays lofty ethical features. The name of Indra is pre-Indian, you can say. Oh, if it's of their race, it's of their race. You know what they mean. For it occurs in the Avesta as that of a demon. The term Verthragna, Verdrahan, is also found there as the designation of the entity of victory, though connected with Indra. Thus, it seems likely that there was already in the Indo-Iranian period a entity resembling the Vrtra slaying Indra of the Rig Veda. The etymology of the word is doubtful, but its radical portion Ind may be connected with that in the Indra. And one of the things that we have is that sometimes, because of the myths, some elements of it being undesirable, as people would say, then people turn against the entity that the myth is about. Or in that culture, it becomes a term for something other than that aspect of divinity or something like that. Like Indar versus Indra. 212 meter Krishtub. So let me see how many verses we got here before we get into it. 15 verses? Okay. 1. Yo jatta eva pratama manasvan devodavan kratuna paryambus shot yasya sushman rodasiyam yasetam armnasya mahnasa janasa Indra. And the chief wise entity, who as soon was born surpassed the entities in power, before whose vehemence the two worlds trembled by reason of the greatness of his valor. He, O men, is Indra. Epa, see page 224. 2. Manasvan. Note that the suffix van is not separated in the Pada text as it is in Pavitravan 163. Had the Sandhi of the world, however, been Manavan, it would have been analyzed as Manah Sivan. Devo Devan Sep 1, 1 and 5. C. Parya Bushat. Exact meaning of the verb Paribush is somewhat uncertain here, but as the greatness of Indra is especially emphasized in this hymn, surpass seems the most probable. Saganna explains it here as encompassed with protection in the Avesta, as ruled over in the what does TS stand for? That's surpassed. Rodasi, the Pragrahya E of duals is not shortened in pronunciation before the vowels. Page 437. FN3. Or third person, is that what the 3 is? Abhyasatam, epith of Bias, B, be afraid of, with Abul, 316b, Matna instead of Mahan, greatness, Sepa, 458, 2. The refrain Sa, Janasa, Indra ends every stanza except the last of this hymn. Similarly, Vithvas, Mad, Indra, Uttara ends all the 23 stanzas of 1086. 2. Yah Pwithim Vyathamanam Andramhanyah Parvatan Prakupitam Aramnat Yoantariksham Vimamevareyo Yodyam Astabnat Sajanasa Indra, who made firm the quaking earth, who set at rest the agitated mountains, who measures out the air more widely, who supported heaven, he, O men, is Indra. Yas, note that every pada of this stanza, as well as of nearly every other stanza of this hymn, begins with this form of the relative pronoun corresponding to the sa of the refrain. The cosmic deeds of Indra in all times, the three divisions of the universe, air, earth, and heaven, are here described. Aramnat, epithet of Ram set at rest. Vimame, Variyas, of Uru, 103 to A. Here the sipab is used predicatively extended so as to be wider, sep 669.5, where it is said of Indra and Vishnu, ye made the air wider and stretched out the spaces for us to live. Dyam, of Dyo, sky. Astabnat, epithet of Staba, prop. In this, the preceding stanza, the epithet of narration is used throughout, excepting Vimame, a form of constant occurrence. Step 154, 1, 3. 164, step 213D, page 343. Is it 343, 7 times 7 times 7? No, that doesn't sound right. Where is it? Anyways, no, it is. It is. 35 is a multiple of 7. 3. Yohat vahim marinat sapta sindun yoga urajara pada valasya yo asmanur antar agnin jarana samvark Samatsu Saranasa Indra, who, having slain the serpent, released the 7 streams, who drove out the cows by the unclosing of Vala, who between 2 rocks has produced fire, victor in battles. He, O men, is Indra. The first hemistich refers to the 2 well-known myths, the release of the waters by the conquest of Vritra and the capture of the cows imprisoned by Vala, Sep 2:14-2. Yo apo bab ravam sam Vrtram Jagana, who slew Vrtra, who had enclosed the waters. And then 3, Yoga Urajad Apahe Valam Vah, who drove out the cows, where he enclosed Vala. Arnat, epithet of Re, release. Sapta Sindhun, the 7 rivers of the Punjab. Das, uppercase A, plural of go, cow. Uda Ajat, epithet of Aj, drive. There is some doubt as to the exact interpretation of Apata, a word that occurs here only. In form, it can only be an is of Ipada, uppercase I. That makes a difference. Step 97-2. The parallel use of Apa Bur in 2:14-3, quoted above, indicates that the Apa Ga means the unclosing by Indra of the cave of Vala in which the cows are imprisoned. Sept also 1:11:5 from Valasya Mato Pavar Bilam, thou hast enclosed the aperture of Vela, rich in cows. The form is explained by Durga, the commentator on the Nirukta by Apavanana, as meaning Ud Ra Hanana, Valasya by the unclosing of Vala. Sagana interprets it as an irregularity for the apple, equals from the enclosure of Vala. Valasya, the objective general, 320, the 1b, so different uppercase and then lowercase b there, equals by the opening of the cave of Vala. Osmanur Antar, between two clouds, according to Sagana, between heaven and earth, according to Durga. The allusion is to the lightning form of Agni, who in several passages is said to be in the rock and to be produced from the rock, and is called the son of the rock. Adreh Simu. And 4 here. Yanema Visva Chavana Krtane Yora Sambarnam Madaram Guhaka. Svagniva Yojengivam Laksham Madanarya Pushtane Sajanasa Indra, by whom all things here have been made unstable, who has made subject the dasa color and has made it disappear, who like a winning gambler the stake has taken the possession of the foe. He, O men, is Indra. Imma Visva, all these things, that is, all things on earth. Chavana is used predicatively after Kartana, just as Avaran is in B after a car set 4:30:22. Yasta Visvane Chityushe, who has shaken the whole world. Dasam Varnam, the non-Aryan color, is Krishnam Varnam, the Aborigines. Note the difference in the accent in the substantive dasa and the adjective dasa. Akar, root o of kur, 148, 1b, is to be construed with both the ram, make inferior subject, and the nguha, put in hiding, cause to disappear, drive away. When a final visar janiya in the Samhita text represents an etymological r, this is indicated in the pada text by putting ite after the word and repeating the letter, the latter in its pause form. Akar itya, akah, jagivam, puff, put of je, win, 139, 4 on the sandhi for D3, since the normal meter requires curved line, straight line. So, after the kasura. 441, top. This word was here perhaps metrically pronounced jikavam, as it came to be regularly written in B, uppercase B. Adopt, irregular, 147, A1. From dog, give, although not analyzed in the pada text, it must, owing to sense, be a dot has taken aryas, generative of are, 99.3. The word appears to be etymologically above, having no wealth, re, ra'e, either for oneself, whether the sense needy supplement, or to bestow on others, whence the sense niggard, stingy, foe. If a single meaning has to be given, devout is misleading, and suppliant should be substituted for it in the Vedic grammar, page 81, F-na 199.3, and in the index, page 473. But we don't have that many pages in this book. Have they just considered everything like doubled? Whatever page it is times 2? Because there is an index here. You know, there's index and vocabulary, and so 5. Yam sma Tante kuha sate goram utema horna esho asti tenan so yah pushtir vidya eva minnate stradasmae datta sajanasa Indra, the terrible one of whom they ask, where is he, of whom they also say he is not? He diminishes the possessions of the niggard, like the Pleiades stake. Believe in him. He, O men, is Indra. Sma, page 250, is metrically lengthened. The second syllable of the pada, favoring a long vowel, page 141, top. Prachanta per prat seta for saeta. The ear contracts of sa with the following vowel is common. 48a. In anticipates enam. See page 220. A her puff of say 139. 4. This verb is not being accented. B has the form of a principal clause, although the most invariable use of relative clauses in the hymn would lead one to expect the yam of the first clause would accentuate the second also. So, Aryas, the initial A, although written, should be dropped, otherwise the error contraction Vijeva is just possible, but curved line, straight line for curved line, curved line. Yeah, most the curved line would perhaps take it to it or something. You know, like when you see it next to a letter. Following a kasura after the fifth syllable is rare. 5c is parallel to 4c. Manate to adat. Arya. Pushteh to Arya. Pushtana. Vijja to Laksham. Ushas for 51, as in 192. 10 described as wearing away the life of mortals. Svagniva, Krtner, Vijja, Amanana, diminishing it as a skillful gambler, the stakes. Manate, pronoun of me, damage. Sradvata, second plural itv of the, believe, with the dative 200. A is uppercase A. 1e, the padas. The padas A, B mentions doubts as to the existence of Indra. E implies that he does not exist, and D calls for belief in him. 6. Yoradrasya chodeta yah Kurvasya yo brahmano nadamanasya kira Yukta gravno yoaveta suste prah sutha summasya saranasa Indra. Who is further of the rich, of the poor, of the suppliant Brahmin singer, who fair lipped is the helper of him who has pressed Soma and set to work the stones. He, O men, is Indra. Shodhvita governs the three genitives, the rich, the poor, the priestly poet of B, as the three relatives show, while Avita governs that of C, Su, Cypros of page 455, CA, both lowercase. The exact meaning of Cypra is somewhat doubtful, but as it is regularly dual, has the attributive of Tani, Hare Cypra, being parallel to Hari Samasaru, Tawny bearded, and is associated with Indra's drinking of soma. It can hardly mean anything but lips or mustaches. It could not well mean jaws, which are Hanu, Yukta, Gravnas, of him who has set in motion the stones with which the soma shoots are pounded. 7. Yasvasah pradese Yasya gavo, yasya grama, yasya vesve, rathasah, yah suryam, yaushasam, jajana yoapam netasa, janasa Indra. In whose control are horses, clans, all chariots, who creates the sun, the dawn, who is the guide of the waters. He, O men, is Indra. Ushasam, often also Ushasam, so long A or short A. Dual N-A, both capitals there. Ushasa and Ushasa, noun plural, Ushasas and Usasas. Ushasas. So, again, long or short A is the second. See 83 to AFN1. 6. Yam krandasi samyati vivayate pare avara ubaya amitra samanam Chendratam matastevamsa nana avete sajanasa Indra, whom the two battle arrays, coming together, call upon divergently both foes, the further and the nearer, two having mounted the selfsame chariot, invoke him separately. He, O men, is Indra. Samyati, per, put, do, n, of same, go together. Ve, havayete, from hava, and nana, havete, from hu. The sam, prasarana, form of hava, are synonymous, meaning, call on variously. Sep 102, 5, 6. Nana hetava havabana havam ana jana eme. These men calling on thee, Indra, variously, and atajana the havayante sisha savah. So men call on thee variously, desiring gains. Paravara must be read para avara. Although the succession of 5 short syllables before the kasura is irregular, page 444, the second pada explains krandasi. Ubayas, never used in the duel, both groups of foes, that on the farther and that on the nearer side from the point of view of the speaker according to sayana, the superior and inferior, samanam contrasted with nana, two who are on the same chariot, that is, the fighter and the driver, and evoke them separately. Havete, not being accented, must be taken as the verb of a principal clause. See the note on 5b. 9. Yasman arte vijayante janasoyam yudyamana avasahavanto yo vithvasya par pratimannam babuva yo achyutachut sajanasa Indra, without whom men do not conquer, whom they, when fighting, call on for help, who has been a match for everyone, who moves the immovable. He, O men, is Indra. Was started by some wildlife. Na rete must be pronounced narte, the dayante per of G conquer, havante sep vi vayete in 8a avasa, final dative, page 314, b2, prete manam sep 4, 18.4, nahi nu asya prete manam aste antar jateshu uta ye janitva, for there is no match for him among those who have been born, nor those who will be born. Achyuta, cute, sep 4a, also 334. Tvam cha vayan achyutana charasa, thou continuous shaking unshaken things. 10. Yah sathvato mahe anno da vanan aman yamanan charua jagana yah sardate nanudadate sardyam yodasyor hanta sa janaso Indra, who slays with his arrow the unexpecting many that commit great sin, who forgives not the arrogant man his arrogance, who slays the Dasyu. He, O men, is Indra. Da Vanan per put a of the sandhi of an 39 is not applied between padas, sep 135 10c, aman yamanan, not thinking soil. Oh, skill, SCIL with a dot, that he would slay them on the sandhi of n plus s, but the, that s, not the s, or not the sh, but the roof of the mouth. C41, Sarva with his arrow, insistent, page 80 with his characteristic weapon, the Vajra. He slays his foes in battle. Yagana has slain and still slays, may be translated by the present. 213, uppercase A, lowercase a. Anu da date, 3s per of Anu Da, forgive, with the dative sep 200a, uppercase A, F, dasios, of the demon, Anu Da with a plus in the middle of it, a term applied to various individual demons such as Sambara, 11a. 11. Yah Sambaram Parvatashukshayantam Chatvaram Syam Sarade Anvavindat Ojayamanam Yoahim Jagana Danum Sayanam Sajanasa Indra, who in the 40th autumn found out Sambara dwelling in the mountains, who has slain the serpent as he showed his strength, the son of Danu as he lay, he omen is Indra. Now, this is going to be released in my 42nd autumn, because I will be 41 when this is released, if I survive that point, of course. Sambara, next to Vrtra, Vala, and Thushna, is the most frequently mentioned demon foe of Indra. Who strikes him down from his mountain. He is often spoken of as possessing many forts. Kshe Yantam, see the note on 154, 2d. Chatvarim Syam, that is Indra, found him after a very long search as he was hiding himself. Anva Vindat Epith, to second vid, find. The second hemistich refers to Indra's slaughter of Vrtra. Oja Jamanam, Oja Yaman, Sep 3:32:11, Ahan, Ahim, Parith, Ayanam, Arna, Oja Yam thou slewest the serpent, showing its strength as he lay around the flood. Danum, this is strictly the name of Vrtra's mother, here used as a metronymic. Danava, Sep 132:9, Danu, Saya, Sahavatsa, Na, Danu. Danu lay like a cow with her calf, i.e. Vrtra. Sayanam, Perput, of she, not she, C, no, lie. 134, 1c. 12. Yah Saptarasmer Vrsh Abbas tu Vishman Avas Rjat Sartave Sapta Sendun Yorahinam As Hurad Vajra Bahur Dyam Adrohantam Sajanasa Indra. The mighty seven rained bull, who let loose the seven streams to flow, who, armed with the bolt, spurned Ra'uhina as he scaled heaven. He, Omen, is Indra. Hinam as fu. Okay, I think that's a P and an H. The term Vrsabha is very often applied to entities that are treated as gods, but especially to Indra as expressing mighty strength and fertility. Sapta Rasmus, having 7 reins, probably means hard to restrain. Irresistible. Sayana interprets the Sid to mean having 7 kinds of clouds, Parjanyas, that shed rain on the earth. The Vishman, the suffix mant, is separated in the Pada text only after vowels as go, satman. On the Sandhi, see 10a of a asarjat, epith of surj, emit, sartava, dative inf of sur, flow, page 192 4, sapta, sindun, sep 3a and 135 8b, rahu, Ra'u Hennam, a demon mentioned in only one other passage of the Rig Veda, Byam Arohantam, ascending to heaven in order to attack Indra. 13. Dyava Cherasmae Prthevi Namete Sushmach Chin Asya Parvata Vayante Yah Somapa Nitjeto Vajra Bahur Yovajra Astah Sajanasa Indra. Even heaven and earth bow down before him, before his vehemence. Even the mountains are afraid. Who is known as the Soma drinker, holding the bolt in his arm? Who holds the bolt in his hand? He, O men, is Indra. Dyava, Pruthevei, the 2 members of the Devata, Devandavas, are here as often separated by other words. 186, uppercase A. 1, Asma'e, dative with nam, bow. Oh, bow. Okay, bow in this case. Sep 200, uppercase A, 1, lowercase k, P 311. Oh, page on, okay, the page 311. Bayante, see the note on 185, 8c, Sushman, Sep 1e, Samapas, 97.2, predictive, nominative, 96b, Nichitas on the accent, see page 462. 14. Yah sunvantam avate yah pachantam yah samsantam yah sasamanam oti yasya brahma vardhanam yasya somo yasyadam radha sajanasa indra, who with his aid helps him that presses soma, him that bakes, him that offers praise, him that has prepared the sacrifice, whom prayer, whom soma, whom the gift strengthens. He, O men, is Indra. Sunvantam, all the participles in A and B refer to some act of worship, pressing soma, baking sacrificial cakes, etc., praising the entities, having prepared the sacrifice. Sas amanam, explained by the Sayana as stotram kurvanam, offering a stotra by the na gantuka 314 as archantam, singing by the nirukta 6-8 as samanam, praising, uti, contracted instead of ute, page 80, to be construed with avate, Sep 185 for Avasa, Avanti, helping with aid, Varvanam, to be taken predicatively with each of the three subjects, Brahma, Somas, Radhas, of whom prayer, etc., is the strengthening, that is, whom prayer and strengthens, Yasya being an objective, genitive, Idam, Radhas, this gift, this sacrificial offering, Yah, Sunvata, Pachata, Dudra, Achid, Vajam, Dadarshi, Sa, Klase, Satya, Vayamta, Indra, Visvaha, Prayasah, Suviraso, Vidatham, Vadema. And 15 is, as he who most fierce enforces booty for him that presses, and him that bakes. Thou indeed art true. We ever dear to thee, O Indra, with strong sons would utter divine worship. This concluding stanza is the only one that does not end with the refrain, Sa, Janasa, Indra. Instead, the poet changed from the third to the second person, substitutes the end of B, the words Sa, Kila, Ase, Satya. As such, thou art indeed true, equals to be depended upon, except the note on Satyam, 1-6 C, while C, D are a prayer ending with an adaptation of the favorite refrain of the Gautamas, the poets of the second Mandala, Barhad, Vadema, Viratha, Sivira, we would, accompanied by strong sons, speak aloud at divine worship. Chid, perhaps taken as emphasizing Dudras, page 216, then with Darcy, edition of Dar, Te, genitive with Prayasas, page 322, Vidatham, the etymology and precise sense of the word have been much discussed. There can now be hardly any doubt that it is derived from the root vid, worship, and that it means divine worship, scarcely distinguishable from yajna, of which it is given as a synonym in Naig Antuka 317, except the note on 185-1. When you write a book, except for something being the page number, don't expect people to know that this is what you mean with all of this, right? Just put the words. And so the Sufis in particular talk about the term baked or cooked or something. So Indra being a baker kind of can have mystical connotations to it. Of course, it's the whole Rig Veda and all the Vedic texts, even the Mahabharata, is a religious text. So, it's all mystical. But, you know what I mean? It's more transformative of, you could say, more function driven in that sense.